Hey, everybody, welcome. Coming into this game against the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears, they've gotten a lot of good news here. We're seeing back to back days of seeing good news on the injury front. I'm going to share an update on multiple players. That's going to include Tevin Jenkins, DeAndre Swift, and yeah, not great news on Keenan Allen, but we'll get to that. So here's kind of the latest injury update. And we can start with the most encouraging news out of all this. We're talking about running back DeAndre Swift. He practiced it. He practiced in full today. So fantastic news. And for one, I want to see this offense in its entirety. It's a litmus test to whether new offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, if he really has what it takes, or if the Green Bay game was just a one-off, right? So I think he's the real deal, but I want to see this offense intact to know for sure. And DeAndre Swift, we're talking about our leading rusher here. Tough to see because he was not practicing to begin the week. Growing injuries. So we see a ramp up, 2 consecutive upgrades, no practice on Wednesday, but limited on Thursday. And now, thankfully, he is full go. Just a great sign that we're going to have him for Sunday, even though he's still listed as questionable on the injury report. I'm going to go to the injury report here. You guys check this out. So, kind of something to look for coming into this game against Minnesota. If you happen to see newly signed Darrington Evans, if you see him called on the practice squad, that's going to telegraph that Swift re-aggravated this injury. But for now, no movement on that front. So I think he's set, but I'll keep you posted on that. Then moving on, Tevin Jenkins. I absolutely love good news on our offensive line. And left guard Tevin Jenkins, absolutely no injury designation this week. Looks to be ready to roll this weekend. And this is after missing last week against the Packers with the ankle injury. So he's a welcome addition to the line this week and just some absolutely great news. And by the way, that injury, it was the one that was suffered against the New England Patriots. So you guys know me. I love good news, but I typically give good news first. So here we go. Keenan Allen just appeared on the injury report with an ankle. Previously, it was a heel. Hopefully, this isn't directly related to the heel problem because it's just been chronic going all the way back to his time with the Chargers. So he was just absolutely great against the Packers. And I feel like we got a glimpse of what this Bears offense is supposed to look like with a competent offensive coordinator. A questionable tag on Keenan Allen, definitely concerning. So let's hope it clears up by game time. No other news on it yet that I've seen at the time of recording this. So let's move on to more offensive line stuff. Offensive lineman Ryan Bates, still in the concussion protocol, isn't going to suit up on Sunday. He played 7 snaps at left guard against the Packers, and he left the game with the concussion. So I think we're looking at Jake Curhan. He played admirably in his place. I figure he'll take Bates's role as a swing offensive lineman, just in case someone on the line gets hurt. He's going to be there for depth, and you're going to see Matt Pryor there again in that position, which actually I'm okay with. So it's just kind of too bad with Bates because this guy has had such bad luck this year with the shoulder issue being a tough one. I don't think it was that actual injury. I believe I was reading that it's some type of degenerative arthritic condition. You can double check me on that. I'm sure you will. But now he's concussed. I mean, hopefully he's going to be back soon. A lot because so much of this team, especially this offensive line, it's evaluative, right? We need to see if Bates can really be a part of this line past this year, but you got to have live reps to do that. So hopefully he comes back soon. Brain injuries are no joke, but then moving forward, Johnny Bates already ruled out. That's going to be Elijah Hicks, yet again filling in for another concussed Bear in Jaquan Brisker. Suffered it all the way back in Carolina. He's not even resuming football activities yet. Jaquan Brisker, once again, this is going to be his second week on the 4-week injured reserve designation. Hicks suffered the ankle injury against the Packers, and in a corresponding move to prepare for this, the Bears signed familiar face Adrian Colbert to the practice squad earlier in the week. You guys know this dude. He was an absolute huge part of Hard Knocks during the offseason. Really engaging guy, has a 8-year history in the league. This is a guy with experience who is really balling out in the preseason, just barely missed the 53-man roster. So I think he's going to get the crack at making the jump to add to the secondary's depth coming through. Maybe we'll see Jonathan Owens start in place of Hicks, or like initially, but yeah, Hicks has been starting while Brisker's been out with a concussion, and not the greatest news, but I'm kind of looking forward to see how this is going to shake out as far as Adrian Colbert, because I really like him as a guy. We'll see how he is as a player. So one more positive thing. It's another step in the right direction. Finally, rookie offensive lineman Karan Amaj limited in Friday's practice, and that's actually an improvement. And this limited participation, that's the guy from Yale's first football action since suffering the calf injury in week 8, and that was against the Commanders. I hate even mentioning that game. So I'm not saying that Amagaji is going to jump right back onto the active roster for game day, but it's really a good sign that his return could be coming soon, because once again, we got to evaluate this line, see how many actual pieces that we have, how they're going to mesh, how they're going to play together, so we can get some type of film on file for next year, so this line could really be evaluated, because we can't replace every single guy on the offensive line. We've still got to decide if we're going to pay Tevin Jenkins. I'm thinking no. And once again, seeing if Braxton Jones is the answer at left tackle. And yeah, it makes such a big difference for an offensive line for these guys to actually be together, to see, instead of these individual talents, how they actually mesh together as a unit. And you got to have live reps as a full group in order to get that. So hopefully we will get there. So kind of the close, I kind of want to talk about where the Minnesota Vikings are. And there was really some cause for concern. It was all over the place that Sam Darnold was possibly not going to be available for this weekend, and that was with a foot injury. But now we come into Friday, no injury designation. He's good to go against the Bears. And yeah, we're talking, he had a toe ailment earlier this week, and he is upgraded to a full participant. So kind of following up on that, TJ Hawkinson, it's actually might be the first Sunday that he's fully relied on coming back from injury. He's going to have a bigger snap count because fellow tight end Josh Oliver, he's officially out with wrist and ankle injuries. So that's kind of a situation to keep watch of, to see how TJ Hawkinson is in his time back. So it'll give you something extra to look for during the game, and kind of looking at some keys to the game. And I just really hope that we're willing and able to build on this offensive momentum last week. Let's not get back into a cookie cutter type of offense. Be aware of what defensive coordinator Brian Flores, he's an absolute wizard for Minnesota. I really respect him as a game caller. This guy likes to blitz. So we're going to have to use the quick passing game. We're going to have to rely on this run game, maybe get a little more Roschon Johnson between the tackles, but we got to give Caleb Williams a lot of hot reads. We got to get him kind of in this mode of what our offensive coordinator was talking about. And I'll talk about this tomorrow, but the offensive coordinator was talking about having more quick throws, having more hot reads, getting the ball out of Caleb Williams' hands, because one of his quotes were like, how can I devise plays that don't just avoid the blitz, avoid sacks? How do I make plays that are sack proof? And the best way to do that is getting the ball out quickly. So kind of looking on defense, shutting down Justin Jefferson, good luck. But also shutting down Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, he's been doing well running the ball. But here's the thing. If we can get after Sam Darnold, put him in distress situations, we're going to get back to the Sam Darnold that we know from previous years. And if you watch this, you know how I feel about Sam Darnold. He is really, really good in his career of putting together a half season of really good football, and then he falls off every single time. And you've seen some evidence of that the last couple games. He hasn't been quite as sharp. He's been turning the ball over. He's just not quite looking like the same passer. And I fully believe that if the Bears can get after him, force him into some difficult decisions, it's not going to be pretty for Minnesota. But we got to kind of see if something can change, because the Bears pass rush for the last couple games, it has not been stellar. So just kind of wanted to go through that a little bit. You guys let me know what you think the keys to this game will be come Sunday. Can't wait to interact with you, and you guys are always great. Bear down and enjoy the game Sunday. See ya.